Geek Citadel.
A big old walking bag of horse shite.
What did you call me?
Oh, I just referred to you as a large container of animal feces.
Animal feces?
You know, creature droppings.
You're lucky I'm hungry. Otherwise, you'd be dead.
Well, why don't you just come over here and eat me?
The Quest for Glory series is one of my favorite adventure game loves, and introduced me to a more open-ended style of adventure game, with a class system and an entertaining combat system. Infamous Quest clearly loved that series as well, as Quest for Infamy embraces everything that made that series great. Instead of chasing after glory, the goal is to be as much of a terrible person as you can possibly muster. The roguishly handsome star of Quest for Infamy is Rome. He is wanted for sleeping with a very powerful man's daughter, and he decided to hide himself away in a small town plagued by strange cultists and a strict sheriff. Rome will take his place in town and work to become infamous. It's up to the player to choose to be a brigand, sorcerer, or rogue. The story focuses on heavy comedy as Rome commits criminal acts in secrecy to avoid getting his head chopped off. Much like the Quest for Glory series, the story isn't the main deal. It's about running and seeing what the world has to offer. Quest for Infamy sets you free in an open world full of adventure to discover. There are subtle differences in the way that Quest for Glory and Infamy begin. In Quest for Glory, at the very start of the game, you knew what class you were going to play as. In Quest for Infamy, you have to meet everyone in town first and then wander around again and start the classes. Eventually, I struggled my way through all of the class beginnings. I started as a rogue and wandered about for an hour before I realized you could squeeze a fish for oil. Next, I attempted to play as a brigand and learned that I had to melt a weapon down into a medallion. I couldn't quite figure out how to do this, so I switched over to try out the magic class, which to my surprise was the easiest to complete out of all of them. You just stab a deadhead in the face and take his blood back to our Doctor Strange look-alike.
And to you, my good man. Now I can teach you the secrets of the universe. How to bend reality to your will.
Now I know this sounds like I am portraying the guise of a coddled gamer, but hear me out a bit more. Eventually, I got past all of the humps and was able to take on the journey like normal. I was a proud rogue who discovered his place in the world and found other compatriots just like me. I gathered the tools I needed and headed back to town to commit some robbery. I rested to speed the day cycle up and was taken to a festival event. Here I met up with Gorth, the resident town bully, who I quickly bested in a duel and earned the praises of the townsfolk for killing, or not killing, it makes no difference. After it was over, I figured I could get back to my dubious deeds. Nope! The game instead took me home and made Rome go to sleep. I was a bit peeved, but I figured I would just fast forward time again and get back at it. Instead of any of that happening, Rome died from lack of food intake. So without my input at all, my character was killed by no means of my doing. Despite my confused beginnings, the title shapes up into a fairly engrossing adventure title. There are quite a few puzzles and storyline segments where the player can make choices. Most of those choices don't seem to actually affect anything but Infamy gain, but the option is there. Quest for Infamy shares the look of adventure titles of yesteryear and plays greatly into the nostalgia factor. You can make out what most of the characters are doing, and it doesn't have that grainy effect to it like older titles. The voice acting is great for some characters and oddly mechanical sounding for others. It's clear that there wasn't a big team involved due to the repetitive voices of the characters within a small role. The kicker of the entire title has to come from the awful combat system. It's turn-based with a 3-second window, which is absolutely fine until you realize that you have to die constantly early on. Prepare to flail about like an action figure jostled about in a child's hands. You will swing and miss, and miss, and miss, while you wait for your skill points to get to a reasonable level. I really wish they found a way around it, or at the very least, copy the system from the original Quest for Glory completely. Quest for Infamy tickles at my adventure senses, but its confusing design outweighed games that were made 25 years before it. Quest for Infamy receives a wait for sale from Geek Citadel. This nostalgic adventure title takes a high level of patience and care to see what it has to offer. It has a lot of potential for those with a lot of time to invest in it. If you can find a way to completely work around the combat system, this game has fun written all over it. For more episodes of Gamer Value and reviews, check out GeekCitadel.com. Also subscribe to us on YouTube right here below. Look at all the links. Geek Citadel, Geek Citadel, Geek Citadel, Geek Citadel, Geek Citadel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.